So I'm a pretty good skier. I can do double black diamond runs and I've been to plenty of resorts through my life. I am a ski bum through and through. I absolutely love the sport. It's my life. So take it from me when I say to avoid this place. It was the first time I'd ever been there. I didn't really hear much about it. I was just looking for somewhere new to ski. So I just kind of looked at ski hills in the area of Canada I was in. And this one caught my eye. From its pictures, it looked beautiful, the runs looked fun, and it didn't seem saturated with other skiers. So I took the bus there, bought a pass for the day, and got on a gondola up to the top of the mountain. I loaded in wordlessly with a few other skiers, and I surveyed the hill as we rode up. Stuff looked pretty typical, but I saw something that just caught my eye. It looked like some of the snow was moving, but as I looked closer, it was clearly just a very pale guy. He was naked on a mountain and kinda chubby, from what I saw. He walked into some trees and I lost sight of him. It was so bizarre that I immediately asked the other people on the gondola, "Hey, did you guys see that?" They shook their heads at me, and from the few that weren't wearing goggles, I got some dirty looks for my outburst. I figured trying to explain myself would just make me look even more like a fool. I didn't want to dirty my reputation in case I wanted to ski here again. I decided to just ignore it. Maybe it was just someone in a weird snowsuit. It did kinda freak me out a little. Despite that, I went on with my day of skiing. The runs were nice cause there was fresh powder. I hit just about every run I wanted to. Most of them were good. There were some rough patches of grass here and there, but all in all, pretty enjoyable. I stopped by the lodge to grab something to eat and use the bathroom, then continued on, and before I knew it, it was getting dark out. I was almost the last guy on the hill. There were only a few people waiting for the lift. The lift operators said that they were closing up for the day, and this would be my last trip up the hill. Well, it was late, so I wasn't upset. I went up the lift with one other person, but we went on a different run. Thankfully, there were lights on the hill, so I could see pretty well. As I was skiing down, I heard some trees shaking and a grunt. I stopped and called out, "Hello? Anyone there? Are you alright?" There was no answer. I got a bit closer to the trees, where I heard the noise, and called out again. I saw a tree shake and looked towards it. It took me a minute to make him out, but there was a man. He was so damn pale. He might have been just darker than the snow. Something was wrong with him. He wasn't fat, even though his stomach was flabby and large, but the rest of his limbs were long and skinny. There was no hair on him. He was tall, too. If the trees were about 20 feet, then he was around a little more than half their size. This thing was clearly not human. His head was huge and bald. His cheeks were weird looking, they seemed so chubby. His mouth seemed way too long on his face. His eyes were small and had no iris, just a pupil. He, or it, I guess, stared right at me. I was frozen in my fear. I almost pissed myself then. It opened its mouth and gave a big, toothless smile. Its open mouth at that point was wider than my whole head, and it was only opening further. My shock that froze me was replaced by pure fear and adrenaline. I used my ski poles to push me as hard as I could down the hill. I put my skis together and squatted down like I was racing. After a bit, I thought I made some good space between me and it, and I looked behind me. It was right on my ass. It was barreling down the hill. Its jaw was unhinged at this point. The thing could swallow me whole, and I'm pretty sure it wanted to. I screamed and skied as fast as I could down the hill. I couldn't even hear it behind me, but I knew it was there because of the rotten smell of its breath. Its steps were so quiet though, but I saw hope in front of me. I was near the bottom of the hill, and other people. The lodge was there too. I picked up my pace, and as I closed in, I heard a tree behind me crack. I looked, and the thing was gone. It had given up on me. I was clearly freaked out, because the lift operator asked me if I was alright. I shakily replied, "No man, I'm not alright, there's nothing. I just got kinda spooked up there." I just couldn't say what I saw. I'd sound insane. But it felt so real. I went inside the lodge and hired myself a room. Not many rooms left, so I was on the bottom floor. The entire night I heard loud footsteps and heavy breathing outside my room. I just didn't dare peer out my window. I knew what it was. It was that damn thing from the hill. And I knew it could be quiet. It was doing it on purpose, trying to freak me out. I didn't get any sleep. I took the first bus at 6 a.m. away from there. There was no way I was sticking around. As I was leaving, I looked in the woods near the resort one last time. An empty ice with a white, toothless smile looked back at me.